It's a beautiful foggy morning in London, Cricklewood. Um, I wish my father was alive to enjoy this. He always wanted to be in a colder weather on winter as a writer, and I love the winter. It's fresh for the mind to compose. It gets frisky. It's not really cold at all. It's a natural fresh that my father Arthur Arturo would say that it's not like the hot weather, even if you have air conditioning, AC. So I don't know how it is now, but 20 years ago or so, 17, um, Venezuela used to be very divided and split. So it was somehow a little bit awkward because the people who were wealthier would put the AC very cold. And in many commercial centers, you had to wear a shawl or a sweater. And Venezuela is a tropical country. So they would go in the car and it would be very cold as well, and everything would be like if you are outdoors in a and sometimes so cold that you would have to maybe take a scarf to the movie. The cinema would be too cold, like um, so just to differentiate the classes, because there was such a split that not even the middle class could fit anywhere, and they had to pretend to be rich before. So it was a little complicated because they don't have enough to eat, but they use the clothing because there's no middle class. So the middle class would pretend to be something it's not, and you would open their fridge. There is nothing there in the fridge. I mean, that's how I live now, but with nothing in the. My daughter sent me money, so I have food, but there were only lemons. So well, everything will be okay, even if it die. So we're all gonna die. So anything is possible. Only death is secured. I cannot write my stories because I will have to be open-minded and have to think that for other think in the name of the Chinese and the Russian, or just I guess as adults they could understand it's just a story. It's kind of like so well. Beautiful weather here. Monday, 14th of November, entering in the third week of the month. The third week of the month represents what is around. So the first week is the vibration of what is, like a vibration or just something in the air. Like, not really, but kind of sort of, because that environment that involves you there, environment, you're involved, like evolving. So the second week is inside, talking what is inside. The third week of the month, talking what is around. But around is what composes that boundary around. Because the fourth week is what is outside. Yes? So every month I talk with the same first week, second. I just made this to for my daughter to make YouTube 2 years ago for Mansions into Villages. David said, "Well, just do it for you." Because, it's very hard to put her on YouTube, but well, because she was bullied and harassed online, so it is not easy. It's not easy. So well, so I just started talking about it to try to understand what was this idea. Um, for some reason, it's called "The Path Around" above the title in little. I just look at that after 2 years. And I was just talking about it privately, whatever um, platforms. That is just my Facebook, my family, friends, and I explain them. I'm just experimenting this. On well, for the third on November is consistency. Talking about consistency. Oh gosh. So well, I was not prepared for to talk about consistency. So I love to I love to do more or less the same thing. It so after Halloween I have a lot of seeds from the cabbage and I plant them and they grow really fast. They love the light. The seeds of the pumpkin. And here's the first one. Is just right there unfolding from the earth. Is unfolding the sea. As history unfolds. History unfolds. There's a seed there. It's just, the world just kind of like, whoa. So it is magical. This is for me. It's like the little tiny things, orgasmic, because in my little home, I'm just allow myself to be very sensitive for nothing really much. That is, these plants grow really fast. The is very strong when they come out. They're very thick. The sprout is very thick, and then they beautifully fold down, so they look like these big letters, these big leaves that are around it, to hang them. They have kind of like, and they like also to grab around. So I move a lot of things around. So on every season, so there's a consistency there, and when you are living in the same place, you get to know more the place for what is what. Everything here is like encapsulated, like a little seed, a little seed. It was really cool to look at Jordan Peterson with the comedian saying "fuck you, Leon." A good match because it's peculiar to see this what you call humanity getting together and in different types of talents. And then I went to see the comedian and I was just laughing so much. That was so cool. And actually it was joking about some of my jokes. I mean, I used to joke about Michael Jackson and anyways. That was very funny. 'Cause it was even better than my jokes. Of course, with that presentation, I think anybody would make any joke better. That was cool. So, consistency. I don't know what is consistency. I guess. Well, I'm very happy that the President Maduro feels recognized and they call him president. So that is being unjustified. Yeah, and I wish to torture all of them and each of them who have brought Venezuela down. I don't think here I'm here for I don't know. Don't think about it. Not even think about it. All right? I'm joking. I'm joking because you don't know what I'm talking about. So, talking about Venezuela, uh, it's was very rich, very very rich, very wealthy. People very beautiful. Actually, the rich mingle with the poor. The very rich would go to dance salsa in a very ghetto little ampon, is how they call it, where they had all salsa. So all salsa is like the salsa of Cuba, and it's more melodic. It doesn't have any digital music, or is with the pure classical jazzy music, and it's all the highest class say it is divine to dance with the lowest class of all. And some not all, but there's always a freaky rich in every culture, and we go to in the ghetto. That's me. And it's kind of like we were not there super rich because my mother lost everything going to India. She spent all her money, and I mean, we were okay. So it's really fun to there's one of the best comedians in Venezuela because the clash of all the races for 500 years. I mean, I'm talking about Venezuela, not United States of America started mixing from the hippie times, okay? So we might look we're not evolved, but we are fucking evolved. I remember joking with the Venezuelans because well, before all this immigration and the Twin Towers, I would be, well, I was just before the Twin Towers in Manhattan, and then 7 years. Uh, Trump made it more anti. It's like suddenly, from being a person, you became an immigrant. I'm like, okay, used to travel around the world, dancing, meeting people, and always coming home, and just going around. That's just a cyclic consistency. So in one of my charts, I am marked by the symbol of cyclic because my chart goes all around. So I don't have split personality, and I have like four channels of the go around. All of it goes around. So like the river Styx just goes around all at the same time. No need to. Some people need to. It's very interesting to see what kind of marks you. One always returns, and one keeps unfolding these branches and these roots keep creating these pathways that were even constructed before we were born. And that's kind of like a little bit of the relation through our history, not just as a person. So later came a lot of anger in Venezuela from the majority of the people. So, like, oh, not even the taxi would tell you nice things because they took over. It was taking over. It was taking over. So it was a little bit kind of like, oh, I'm just the taxi driver would be. There's a lot of anger, no? So all this anger is coming from under the carpet. And my fathers would say, yes, they have the right to be angry. And I'm like, yeah, but why don't they go do therapy? Why don't they go just, but of course, can you imagine? People that live in the jungle ask them to go to therapy or they live in a favela. M- m- Beautiful people, humble people, innocent people, very compassionate because they have to deal with a lot. And Chavez then would teach men how to be men, to take care of their children. I mean, he was taking over the channels, the TV channels. So the problem with communism or anything that is forced is it doesn't work. It cannot work. But at the same time, they need help because everybody needs help. The first world countries have too much entertainment, and sometimes it just look like monkeys monkeying around. Right? From another, if you look at it, just imagine you're another animal, and you're just, I don't know, like a tiger looking for food. You know, and you just look at the monkeys monkeying around, and you lose your appetite to eat them because this is like, what are they doing? Like, it's just so distorting sometimes. You can get involved and understand all this entertainment, all these funny things. I myself can laugh a lot with comedians and stress out all this. Comedy has a lot to do with stressing, touching the buttons where is the stressing factors. Ting, 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 pushing your buttons. Ting, ting, then going back and forth. And just flipping, flipping, flipping. Woo! And suddenly, touching their, tickling them everywhere. But they tickle you at the same time because it gets contagious. It's one of the greatest therapies to be able to laugh. My God, I don't even laugh at my jokes anymore. Sometimes I guess kind of ridiculous. One has to be funny in order to be listened. But well, I miss New York City. Watching the comedian, I remember how much fun it was to. Because in New York, you really laugh about all the cultural gaps, and even people from their own culture laugh about themselves, about their own cultures. They say, "Don't worry, I'm a Latin." Oh, all this. Well, I don't want to go there now because it's just. But my God, like after New York City, I had like different lives, different lives in one. Oh, there's a little book of poems from military men. Um, I lost the page. There was one where it was really, I shouldn't say it really, but it was real. Was real, yo. I used to record with when the first digital recording, they were large like this, in the back of the bus. I used to record because in the back of the bus is you have all the ghetto people. Yeah, the good people go in the front, and in the very back you have always the crazy people that are shouting alone there because they live in the streets. They can take any bus and they just talk alone like, oh. So I would sit there and listen to them. Uh, I, just for intrigue. I was always very. I just was very curious and hungry to get to meet all this. Just listen to the shouts and it would be insulting me. I was like, okay. Uh, so I would put the recording and get to listen and study all the black people because I had a character one of the characters in a script that I was writing. So I was writing with 5 cultures, and none of them was a white. And I wrote other movie scripts just to sell this one, but I wanted to do what I wanted it to do, and science fiction is one of my favorite verses. But you need a lot of budget to to film science fiction. I would gladly give away some of its photographic uh, that I have created. Though that was 20 years ago or so, or 23. So there's a form of photography for the movie because when you write a script, you have to know everything about movies. Yeah, you have to know photography. You have to communicate with each of them. All right, and everything is very minimal because each one with 3 words, and each word is minimized. So with 3 letters, because you don't cannot give a script that is like that. So it has to be reduced there, encapsulated, like that seat. And the professional knows what to do with those 3 words. That maybe is because the whole work of a scriptwriter is to reduce the information because they know very well what to do with all context. They know the ingredient to make that perfume explode like right there in your face, and you forget about your who you are. That's why people love movies or reading books to avoid whom you are in your fucking life, which is tedious and boring and the lowest scam of social. I mean, just to say boring is a little, but there you go. You gotta do what you gotta do. Some things can be embraced if we all can all embrace, but if it's not really like embracing, but keeping that, it's just artistic craft. But in the arts, you have all the pathways of information, right? Hello. That's what I hate when people call me an artist. you're a cultural little an artist. They don't even study science or history. It's funny because I have to tell many people their own history. Huh? And they're like, oh, how dare you talk about my history? I'm like, yeah, well, it's like, didn't you know? And then give them a little trivia. They don't know about the Sufis. They don't know about all the richness of their own very culture. Not everyone, of course. It's beautiful to listen to the master of the Buddhist temple, which I would love to go, but I love being indoors. So it's beautiful when they know, but the Buddhist monk had transcended that. I knew when I said it was sad how the Chinese had corrupted the Buddhism because they wanted to use the Buddhist wisdom, mm, to manipulate minds, which is called mind slayers. Because there were wars between Japan and China. I mean, these wars are for anyone to go crazy, delusional, paranoid. Yeah? You know what is it for an emperor? And I would love those times come back and the emperors with the real shit. Yeah? Chinese silk. Chinese silk. Correct. Sorry. Um, they had sometimes from 5 to 7 because they also work with numbers, numerology. 3, 5, 7 is harmonious. I don't know. I don't remember the numbers right now, but in each dynasty, I mean, we're talking about dynasties, all right? It's not so. I mean, dynasty. Each dynasty. I think each dynasty is 1,000 years, right? Hmm? It's not like a century. So the dynasty was used also for the Egyptians. And I can't forget it because my father slapped me for this, and I've never been touched, like, no, never been hurt, no physical abuse, no abuse at all. My father would take all the anger outside. He had a lot. He had a lot. Home was a place where you nourish and cherish, and you get ready to fight outdoor outside. Yeah, so it's a place where you regenerate. And my father would always make that clear in the table and anywhere, uh, because they had to manage with a lot of stuff. Yeah, so is your base. Wow. And my mother had more common sense, and she allowed me to watch Dynasty, the soap opera. I mean, it escalated because my father would turn the TV off. I was 13. And I guess I paid for it because I was going. My father was somehow a little bit, uh, had a little bit of social resentment towards the higher class because it was my mother that was the one who made money. She was the one who always had the house, had everything, all the montage, and she distributed clothes to all Spain. She was the first one getting this French Renaderie She was very good with people, and she was very good maintaining the consistency of balancing money, which not everyone has that. So I think because my father was in Madrid with us, and we were not with him for five years. So I was 7 years in Madrid. I thank my mother to have been away from my father and just get to enjoy all of that with her as a freedom, no, without that. Because getting to meet my father was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, was a problem with you? Was like talking with an antisocial, right? Like what's um on that time I was a real brat, a real brat, and maybe I still are. It's funny, but so we were all talking to school, the girls and boys, about the dynasty in Dallas. I would turn TV. It was so much fun to like and this and that. And just because you don't want to talk about your family, you don't want to talk about your friends, and many of us didn't have animals. German Shepherd, but I mean, sometimes you talk about the animals, so you need something to talk about. You don't want to ruin your family. You don't want to ruin your best friends, and why pick on the people that you love and have to respect, right? But sometimes it's just funny to pick on. So you have these characters in movies, and what or not, we love to analyze and have something to talk about that is not us. So there is a consistency that constitutes whom we are and whom we are not. Um, I think that comes already when you're forming inside the womb of your mother. You have all this estrogen forming in your brain the wires, and some in some places it's very important to have this cognition that is going to unfold your human self for the rest of your life. It's not just like that, right? You have a predisposition to be with all your bare naked beauty. I mean, if you're naked in the beach and you love that with people that are not perverts or too uncensored from just the sunshine or the water in your skin, the sunshine in your skin, just to feel safe with the environment that you have around and get to display yourself. That's a gift from the elements of this planet. So some people never change. One has to know until what where you can. So my father slapped me. Of course, it's escalated because I said, Why do you need to use so many words and name so many people? What is the problem with you? Can you not just understand with simple words? It would be a better world, with so much or argumentation, and he was a writer and composer. So that was the moment where he slapped me, not because he was turning the TV 4 times and I turned the TV back 4 times, because I find him very rude. He didn't want me to be as one of those people, gossiping, of pretense. He wanted me to be an intellectual like him, a person of he didn't talk about morality, but a noble person. So I guess, my spiritual name also means noble. It means intelligence, love intelligence. My spiritual name from India, given from the master of meditation in India, Osho. So, and Patricia is noble, the noble, from the noble class. So, there you go. Osho talk about the mustard seed. Osho talk about many masters, but he talk a lot about Jesus as well. And he has beautiful discourses about Jesus, and sometimes contradicting himself with Buddha. He would talk about Buddha sometimes and create like if he had a conversation with him. But he used to do that when he was talking in the universities, because he studied philosophy and he was a master teacher of philosophy and going around the universities in India talking with other professors of philosophy and sometimes arguing with and against. So one time a professor couldn't attend to the reunion, the speech. Many people go to see them, and he said, it's fine. I will talk for him against myself. And the Greeks would do that all the time. That's what I call orgiacal thinking. Yeah, if anyone finds a better word. So, intermingling, interdialogue, is orgiacal thinking, because it has a connotation of love and a spiritual understanding that's beyond love and beyond reason. It can be awkward if you're too straight or narrow-it minded. Chicken brain. I have fish brain, but maybe smaller. But at least I can swim in the ocean. I do miss the ocean. I've always been around the water, and I need the water. So to know there is water, mm, but it's okay. And that was a big slap. That's why I love to slap the table, slap the air. It's good. Some traumas are good. Some traumas are like shock therapy. They define you. Like with the Meghan Markle, I was like, like how it's just kind of like, not, don't go there. Like, why harass this girl like this? Because she doesn't have natural cheekbones. I'm like, oh my god, like, what is the problem with you? Whom do you think you are? First of all, the poor girl had no education. Like, she wanted to learn, yeah. So she had to learn very fast all these things. It's kind of like, it's not. I don't think it's easy for anyone. It's like a little girl living her dream. Like, it's not easy to see the reality of such a kind. So I really love the series of Dynasty, and I love my father, but I knew my father was gonna be there, but I was gonna miss the series. So to turn on the TV again. And when I was 13 and I was just 13 in 3 months, let's say, because after that we were going to India, and maybe I was 13 in 1 month or two. So I was crying and I was saying, "How dare you hurt me? Now all the men that I'm going to meet are going to mistreat me because my father had given me a trauma." And he was just astonished, like, because I was actually more educated than him to some extent. He was a walking encyclopedia, yes, and had made so many things I've never done, really. But with another sense of just allow me enjoy what I like to enjoy, yeah? If you like your anti-socialist socialism, because that's what all this social resentment is underneath. Yeah, yeah, there was oppression. People had to pay 50% of taxes to the military in Spain when Franco was there. People were having hunger, like hunger. There was so much hunger that my father, because he went to the military back to Spain, and they had some time there and go back again, and they had a house there. S- Just rural people. They had their property, uh, and it was hard for them. So my grandfather would make big. So if was always be someone that comes to visit or is hungry, there was this thing like, "Father, you don't need to cook for 5 people, we're two. You don't need to cook for 7 people, we're two." He would always cook like for 20 if we were five, because the such a trauma that they had to feed, because people were dying of hunger. If people were hungry, and there was always somewhere to go where they could give you. So there was kind of a fraternity among there will always there wouldn't be a dinner where you but there would be houses where your friends or family members could feed you. You didn't have food. So that was kind of like a survival mode to maintain the village. And was such trauma that from early age, and my father cannot do a meal that is measured, and this is why his finances has gone always bad. 'Cause my mother would ask him, "Why do you have to have 15 people that you have hired working in the school of cinema?" "No, because I have to provide to the people. The people are important. They're the ones who maintain the spirit of the school." And I said, "Well, what, don't you think it's more important to, So, well, those were their conversations and the way they measure their their balance, and that's what constitute how could they continue and have consistency, because they had a base, they had a foundation there to have that consistency. And some consistencies have the support from something that is being structured for a long time, longer time than the newly rich. All right. So it's not just the newly rich, but countries who are learning to express themselves and are still in a premature stage of understanding that no one is evil, the colony is not against you, no one wants to rape you unless you would like to. But well, I don't think they role play enough to understand funny ways of life. So in this consistency, sometimes we find what is in hammering hypnosis. These are tricks used in speech of some speech, like the speech of Hitler, would have hammering hypnosis. So in every sentence, in every paragraph or sentence, you use the repeated and the repeated three words that is the emblem of why you're pushing this. So you're hammering. That's how the Occupy movement worked because I use a lot of tactics there. It's just like that. It wasn't just like that, all right? And I never went to any riot because I'm against riots. But, you know, it's just, I could help. Knew it wouldn't work because people, but it would start to open to something. It would start to open something. It would because the government need a bridge with the people, and the people need to take responsibility with a bridge from the government. It's not just like that. Yeah, it's been too divided, each one in their own. And of course, each one has their own, but there needs another body to come there, another organism that can make this transit between them from each village, each locality, and make their own creations from their needs with the relation of the government. Social workers are terrible. I would take them all out because they tell you to yeah, we have this to help the mothers, and they hate you because you're more educated, and they will always dismiss you. I have a big problems with social workers, not only because I'm a brat and I'm an arrogant and consciously, unconsciously, and subconsciously, all at the same time. I can't help it. I have to, I have to help them. To, like you cannot talk like that to people. Uh, you have families who are not perfect. You so they would get jealous with my husband because he's too handsome, so they couldn't understand. They would see him like, I mean, there are certain things with the Catholicism on Spanish woman from Spain that if they are, I mean, he was not handsome. He was super handsome, uh, like evil handsome, right? So that's really handsome. So um, he was like my avatar in a way, because I would talk about him like, oh, but at the same time, it was a little perversion of mine to talk about him because I knew they like him. But this Christian thing that women create to reject the beauty of a man, yeah, because when you like someone, whomever you are, you see them in their naked glory unconsciously, subconsciously, or consciously, or triple both. Oh, so it's in nature, it's natural. I mean, we're the only species that dresses up. I guess we lost a lot of hair for for yeah, well, well, so there is a consistency with the dynasties, and that which can support us to support others. Some of us are a little bit like monks and are empty inside, just to become channel. So none of our own thoughts or desires, none of our own codice or pretense is obstructing the way of the passage for this work to move through yourself. So you hold hands together, and also the wife. You need to put your hand in the heart of the wife. So you're gonna be okay. It's okay, you're gonna be okay. They open their heart and show you their beauty. So they show you their toys, what waters they have around to navigate. So some people can have swimming pools in the house underneath. Some have two swimming pools, one outdoors. Some have, it's like a Greek bath. Some have these like weird jacuzzis. Some explain you about their sauna and going to the swimming pool, the cold and the heat, the cold and the heat. And then the other ones tell you that it's better the jacuzzi, not the cold of the swimming pool, because the bubbles. Look, okay, okay. Yeah. So when you're a guest, you're just like a ghost and celebrate. You celebrate every little inch they like to cheer up with you. And sometimes you don't even dive there because I thought uh well, he was not a boyfriend, he was more like a friend for 7 years, a lover friend. We were too busy to have any kind of a boyfriend girlfriend relationship, so it was good enough. I mean, if you're in New York City and you're in your 20s, it was very good. So I thought, well, what you have to do, because he was going to Denmark, and he had to leave his mother working in United Nations. He was born in London from mother from Africa, and she was coming from Tibet. She was working there for many years, so she needed her house back in New York City. So he was gonna go to Denmark. We were 7 years together as friends in in Manhattan, and I dearly enjoyed her house. We were blessed to have her house to be together sometimes. So he had to go, and I told him, well, to be on people's house, you gotta you gotta be like a ghost and not interfere with anything at all. Not just the things they have around, but their emotions. And when you're doing hypnosis as well, when you're doing hypnosis or you're with someone to navigate into like, oh, let's just call it navigate because you're always present, but all these things, all these scenarios are passing through and you just remain present. But that only helps where you have meditation. You have meditated, not yoga. Yoga is for shallow people, just stretching and breathing. I mean, all some people think is evil because you're not attached to these dark emotions. You can understand them, but you're not attached to these dark emotions. Therefore, you cannot be manipulated by them. You can understand them. You can express them as well and feel them. And we will always have our own emotions, and that is a virtue to define. This is my emotion. This is not my emotion. This is my information. This is not my information. All right, 'cause they are truly mind layers. How people talk to you, what you share, what is yours, what you represent, because you've been all these years together. So this is also a form of my manipulation. I have written a lot of my manipulation with science fiction stories of government. But of course, I love my tyrants. And they just want order. So they are characters that make you smile because you know that at least somebody's taking care. They have those capabilities. Um, you want to do things that you cannot do because in my reality, I'm hopeless. Just do what I want, where I go, because I'm not really on this stage, not looking further than just delivering this work for virtual reality that is part of the website and the script. It's not the script, is I have to talk about it, and every time I speak, because I am trying to find a person that can explain this much better than me and be able to give the work away as it is and show it, and the person knows what it is and can amplify with all their knowledge. I have people blocking the way, people blocking the way for mediocre beliefs. Some people think they can deal with it all, but it's not like that when you have a heave. A heave? Or just used to dress like this and with a tie for many years. Or since I came to London, I used to just. This man from China would say, "Why are you dressed more feminine?" And I was, well, I just want. So that dress like this is showing that I'm not available. Because he couldn't understand. He's coming from China. I I made meetings with him with another office. I guess it's difficult. So after this week, the next week comes naturally, and he's talking about agreements and law. So getting that kind of like first week effort, second week sports, consistency, agreements low. Ta-da! So it's all the month there. A little hat. It's funny because I have not been into astrology since 20 years. Um, I'm back to it. So it says for this week, months like that, just like that, and then interesting. There will be decisions taken from the air because they are from the air, right? And it will be doubt. It would be chaotic and dubious as well because you are entering into the unknown areas, and that's natural. It is part of the unknown. And unless you're very elevated, you don't feel these transgressions holding you down. My God, it's already 11:44 in the morning. I'm very happy with the first seat. These little things make me happy. Unveiling from under the earth. Unearthing! Unearthing! See, little things like words can make me so excited. So I used to, because I feel like I'm paraplexic because I don't have my computer. This keyboard is grotesque. I am very sensitive with the tap because I like music. My headphones, they stole me two pairs, and this is ridiculous. I have to put sometimes. It's ridiculous. I used to live always high with the music in Alambric from a company from Denmark and the other one from Germany. I cannot pronounce them right now. And while one was charging, I will use the other one. And I will really look to this kind of music with those sounds to make the soundtrack and write from it. So I've never been tweeting or bullshitting around in the stream unless it was necessarily. I always felt kind of guilty for having so much fun online, role playing, and getting to experience all these things and trying all these games and all these ways and all these things with my best friend and other friends that I honor him with all this work as well because he's been my master. He was there before me. My master in the sense, so of course I have also uh, and other role players have brought other mastering skills. We had to learn coding. We just, you know, I'm not really like for me it was very hard because I'm dyslexic, so it's kind of like it's everything cracking down there. I'm like just 2 years just to get something that yeah I have studied it. I made all these studies, even printing and trying to read it and because something in my mind was telling me from my father, you have to keep the direction of the script, what is in the script, and to be a director, right? So you have to, that's more important. Uh, and knowing everything at the same time, all the arts. So I had to focus not in coding, which I did learn just some basics for the page, but not just to get the system of it all, to keep your guard in what's going on with all this to be able to direct for this. So you have to get sponsorship as well. You have to give your work so it can be projected. The problem is because it's been so neglected. It's not valuable. It's not valuable. And because computer games have been sell marketing and this doesn't exist. So this is a part that is going to revolutionize human technology, not just in the virtual fantasy world, but in the way we think, uh, for our interactions as mediators and channelers. If you see the, and I'm just going to wait that somebody is formal to me and calls me just to make this work. So it is not an allusion to poetry or writing or novels or fantasy stories and emotional crafts and all these forms of information that you get through music, visuals, um, portals that make your mind juicy. This is what I have lived for. I don't care about I don't care about anyone or anything really, but my family. Um, one has to adjust to continue. So one could break down the word consistency with con, which is like con is like kind of like with everyone, and consistency could be from systems, and C, something like that, right? I guess you don't need to study Latin, right? With certain words like environment, involved. Like, well, it's an environment. I'm involved. What free will are you talking about? Like, well, I'm not involved, but it's there. Can't help it. It's there. Everywhere I look, it's there. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Can you see it? All right. So it must be interesting to. I was thinking about how many Russians can speak English, or why would they need a translator, or the people from China must be so interesting to learn how they speak. Would the Americans feel jealous because of their lack of? mm, It's just immediately they want to bully anyone. The, the, it's just already put into a threat, right? We're better, we're better, we're better. Doom, you're doom. All those who are against us are doom. Man, guys, like, come on. The worst of China took over the empire, so in Russia and in America too. In America, all these people like, just are evolving from the worst of the earth. No, the best people also went to America. But at least Americans can talk about it freely and laugh. My father said, well, I will say it again. You might think I'm he would get to speak a little more about whom he really was when I was in my 20s before he died. So thanks God, can understand a little more. So you might think I'm Antigrango, but Americans make you laugh. That's why they won. Can't help it, because the person that laughs about themselves, you can't hurt them because they're already laughing about themselves. So you cannot joke about them. So they already had in that, and you laugh about yourself at the same time, make you feel equal with the same disgraces that we carry. Because this is why some comedians look like wise men, very smart, right? Uh, just wish to be a comedian, but I've always thought that I don't want to be look like the person that is portraying that comedy, because I could create these characters, but I don't think that I want to be seen like that because I think my imagination is too wild and to just reframe myself as such, just that. Yeah. So this is as a composer to um and just to be with my family with the face of a lady to the world when I just talking alone here in my home and it's homey, nothing special, just another ordinary day that makes us more unique because that's an intimate way of being. Yeah, like you can be in the bathroom talking with someone. It's more it's more intimate. Yeah, it's there is no masks or nothing in between. And maybe your friend is having a pee, and but you've been living together in India in boarding school or or you're just there like I've never been in the bathroom with somebody. That's how I started a friendship in a very intimate way. That was also something that John Lennon from the Beatles had. He could go to the bathroom and be talking with his friends while peeing or things that are just very natural. My boyfriend from New York had that too. It just some things that just sometimes I wonder why sometimes just could do all these things I've done, and still sometimes I feel that no matter how open you can be, you still feel kind of like straight, like oh, because I feel that not everyone is that open sometimes, right? You can be in Goa all naked in Arambol, and just wear a lungi, a piece of material around you, and say this is all I need to be happy with, right? And this with this chai and this coconut cookie, taking it with the sunset, with the waves. No smoking marijuana, no drugs. Okay, to say this is it. This is it. There is no mediation there. There is no gratefulness there. There is. That's it. So that's a consistency that remains with you, and thanks to the people that you have been with. And I thanks my mother to have taken me to India. And my mother always thanks my father who have prepared her all these years to go to India because she didn't even know who was Krishnamurti or all this. great masters. My father would tell that my mother was magazine culture because she loved to always have Vogue and all these magazines. She loved fashion, and they like each other very much. So they always celebrate each other and defend each other. So even if they were separated for years, and that's very beautiful to honor when you see in families and members, and how some members can get to be so distant, not just from social cataclysms, from social disasters that separate families, but for their way of being as well. I wanted to talk about Osho because this Netflix series they did in these Americans is only another product of prostitution that people do for money, and they sell themselves for this other, I don't know what adjectives to use for that, because these producers, this is why I could never, I said, yeah, I love writing stories and scripts, but what I like to write is uneditable. Not only that is uneditable, you cannot just go and click there and see it on a website. This is not for anyone. It's not because it's not going to be understood, it's because people, it would just lose its essence, will become dirty, will become totally nothing to do to enter into that world of my writings are not just for mature, because everything you see is for the average people, that is made for children, so the sales marketing is for money and it's prostitute, and they do whatever the fuck they want, like they rape children, and these are the people who are running Marvel comics and many of the Hollywood stories, which if you really come to make your own stories are much better, way much better, because your mind has ways that you get surprised with, and it creates such a chemistry and drug, natural chemistry, natural drug. They give you the anything you want to feel drugged with. Could be from all these arts, in the eighth arts, which is interrelational. The movies is the seventh art. The eighth art with internet is interrelational through virtual reality and what is to be called, I will call the metaverse just for real life, and starting to define, I'm sorry, mark real life from fantasy, all right? Because you are not that. Yeah, I can do whatever I want. Yeah, I can do whatever I want. I got to do whatever I want. You're paying all these people. And then these people are like, yeah, we all have money, we all have power. Yeah, do whatever you want. Let's put some jolly music and have a little cocktail. Oh dear, yes, of course. You can have digitalize your face and have a conversation because that is you, your image just brought to 3D. Oh yes, does look like you, isn't it? But it's not you. It is a projection. So this is why I thought of just going today, start to write all these words that define. I saw today a video of Jordan Peterson when he was teaching the university, and I was like, wow, he's talking about this part. And I thought, well, maybe my idea came from his idea. Or the one of the hologram from the fantasy world, because he was talking about, but I was talking also with all the anonymous and how you in role play you go do the zigzag. There is a zigzag rule of three, but he was, I said, what? He said rule of three. So I have to study that again. And but when you are seeing three movements, if you have three, it's a total yes. Three messages back and forth. Yeah, when you play tennis, black, 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 black. Okay, I mean, you can be there forever making, and you just say three. It can be four, but for how long are you going to be nice making a mediation if you already said yes? Yeah? Yes, yes, yes. Can be yes, yes, no, 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 yes, 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 no, 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 yes. And some yes are like no's and no's like yes. But if it's kind of like two no's, like it's very probable, probable. You're dealing with a psychopath that still wants to enter with a no, right? Wants to take over you. It wants to show you it has a higher status, that is a predator, that it has everything for you to take over you. It has more power. No, we all are weak. We are weak. Some people have weakness that others don't. Um, some people are, they just with weaknesses, right? There are people that can give drugs and then you become their master because you're providing this drug. So you're like unconsciously, it affects people because like they don't know they're being played through cheap philosophy. Drugs make an effect, and the person that is with the persons taking drugs, they talk about that when I was a teenager. Neuropo, who is Sylvia, she would talk about this con artist and many therapists and people that are convince people to go to India, but they maintain them as well from the higher class. So they use drugs and celebration and all this magic and spirituality and all these Chinese stories, and it's very easy to fool people who are stuck because before the cross they used to stuck people in their ass and up to the mouth in a long stick. Yeah, I think in Romania they did that a little bit more after Jesus as well. So when people would see that in town, was gonna, yeah, I will obey. You have to write. You have to be very dark to go there and write these stories from the past and how people still operate. Well, it's kind of like a relief to imagine that some people wouldn't be walking with the that stick that is stuck. I mean, they're too stiff, right? Because they've seen that, so they already walk like that the rest of their lives because they feel already punished, whatever they do or not. It's kind of like just just eat and be happy that you're alive. Eat, enjoy your shelter. You're happy. So it has a lot to do with how you're going to unfold yourself and manifest yourself and bring, you're going to bring 10, 100, thousands with you to South America to open up villages and talk about it for 10 years, how you made a mansion into a village. Oh, this has taken me 15 years, but it's been worth it, you know. It's not something that you do from one day to another because everybody wants to marry somebody rich, to do all these things, travel around the world. But any person that works in a supermarket with a partner can, of course, Americans can go to South America because it is very expensive to go to, for example, the Philippines. It's very far away. And the airplane ticket is very expensive for a normal person that has a normal job. So ever imagine they can have a country house in South America. Some countries are actually very peaceful and they have beautiful food. And the people are so, they treat you like you're a god, not a king, but a god. Because you look different. You have to have friends from that country. You can never go to such a countries with somebody from that country because you're in danger to lose your life. And the ways of each country has a law of conduct that is not written in the book. And it's beautiful to delegate power and trust that they are managing and keep that relation for nearly ever or forever. So that is consistency as well. To keep that conversation in Zoom, maybe they go in a bottle cycle and go to next town where there is an internet place, or maybe they have internet sometime next year or in 2 years. These things cost money, but it also needs contribution, that it needs to be conscious, it needs to be prepared. You've been sporting already within yourself, like politic does. Politic talks about things for 3 years sometimes. You gotta sometimes with your own self or your own people or your own inner world that you consider is just private and protected. You can walk naked, nobody's gonna judge you. They can just joke about you and even laugh about it. That's beautiful. Like this comedian making everyone laugh. And so daring. That's very New Yorker style. Yeah, love New York. I should have been born there, but well, I'm Venezuelan. Well, I'm still, because I grew up in Madrid and lived through a lot through Europe. Europe has been always the center. Coming back when going to India, staying in Madrid. When going to Canada, staying in England. Uh, from the boarding school and many many flights from Spain, you have to stop in Germany, France, or England. So I will always speak England, and so you have that consistency because it reminds you of when you used to stop there to go to the boarding school. So it's been always kind of like more classy. You become part of a place when you are there, whatever it has, contemporary architecture, or it has architecture that is been built by hands of gold. The arts have something that recreate in your mind because when you're creating, and I don't take I'm not saying like, oh, an artist, Oh, 'cause, so this artist has to study a lot of chemistry to do all these colors. They had to study the nature of the body inside, each muscle, each the psychological composition of forms of how just from one snapshot you're telling a story and know of a history and the psychological movement that represents something that you want to immortalize for forever. So it's not just what you're painting right now. I'm an artist. Ah! So the sophisticated class loves art. They might not be artists. Many artists, just to be with the high class, are they work for free just to be with them. Unfortunately, is the way it is. This is the way it is because there is a jealousy towards the artists because they can be free, they can fuck around, they are uh, not gigolos because they have more time to do all this research and studies. They don't have to do all these protocols. It takes time. It takes time to be a figure. Yeah, you have to lose so much time doing all this just to dress up for hours on those times, right? And still today, it takes 2 hours or half an hour if you want to for women, and takes a lot of time to look beautiful as a woman. Like the makeup, the hair, this is the products to have to know about all these products. So you are substantially working with something that's superficial in the it is real in the environment that you're dealing with because they are the dealers and the connectivity of all these values that will go through them or for what is their capacity for this distribution to distribute. Well, distribution, the action of sharing something out among a number of recipients. Nobody talks about the good things of the government. Yeah, I mean, the action of process of supplying goods to retailers, bridge the different numbers of cards of each suit in a player's hand. 2. The way in which something is shared out among a group or spread over an area. Adjective. Distributional. So the government has that consistency to distribute values, right? Distribution, giving out, dealing out, handing out, round, issuing, issuance. I need to pronounce this better. You can imagine dispensation, administering, administration. So when you're having a conversation, what are you thinking to what do you want to distribute for people to do? Yeah, you want them to have a good time. You're preparing them to know what they're doing with their lives, how they handle money, how they handle values. Yeah, they want to eat better food, better quality food. They don't. Well, if you want to eat cheap food, then fuck off. It's your problem. You don't want to eat better quality food. I'm fucked up, but I eat good food. So lentils, lemon, and olive oil. Very cheap, but it's good quality for the body. Administration, passing round, doling out, allocation, allotment, apportioning, apportionment, assigning. I think Boris Johnson is very good to relocate what is what with the precise words. It was sad to see him on a second road. As he should be the Prime Minister of United Kingdom. I am happy to see Rishi Sunak. It was a disgrace to see the Labour Party looking down at Rishi Sunak because he's always promoting himself to be in his mind that people are going to read his facial expressions and why people would vote for him. And he was looking at Rishi Sunak in the way this is the way of the lower class of the white trash who thinks to be superior from a person that has another culture, born in the same country, with the same, but cannot understand that somebody can it's hard, It's just go. Why don't you go and work in the farm? If you want to feel superior, go work with the pigs, the cows, the chickens. Because if you cannot deal with international matters for the British Empire, for the British dynasty, with all the relations around the world, and be a culture person, I'm not asking you to be an artist, okay? A culture person, just give your seat for another person to be a representative of the Labour Party in the British Parliament. Oh my God, just not low class, like a farmer there. This is the kind of just what are you talking about? Even the guy from Scotland, really, he looked dignified to be there. And he's been very rebel, but after the Queen died, he was like, no, 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 I was part of the United Kingdom, that because he loved to be part. But you can feel that from his feet up, even if he's been so annoying, like a little brat. Like, yeah, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I thought sometimes he was Irish. I don't. Maybe it's a Labour Party thing. I don't know. And then because at the same time he's from United Kingdom, right? So Scotland and the royal family is blood related with the Scottish. So it has all this directional. The English flag has all this directional, and it's in the center of the map of the world because the other part is ocean, just 1/3 of water, just to put it like that. Not exactly. So it's above Spain and up in the north. Uh, the English language is not so hard to speak. But of course, if you get to study Chinese or Hindi or other languages, then they are more elaborated with words. They're more refined, much more sophisticated. So, but at least it's an easier language that we can learn from each other, and anyone is free to copy what I say and talk about it much better. Because I might be novel, but I'm very basic and simple. To know from the people in Russia There must be people that know how to speak English. Uh, that I think because like my mother knows English, but she always denied to speak in English because she was such a good spoken person. She would say it. I speak so well in Spanish that I feel like an idiot talking in English. I don't like myself talking in English because her ego would just she didn't like herself with the words, so she didn't allow herself to elaborate and move on with more and more and more English. And she lived 5 years or six in New York City, where she met my father, and she was a resident there. And she used to joke, "Oh, they used to give residents there like it's nothing at that time." So my mother could just to defend herself, and she said, "Well, I always have more to listen there." But she liked to be more like the queen of the center of conversation. So I can understand when I see the Russians talk, and they some one was speaking in English, but I could see that he felt frustrated because his Russian is so rich in vocabulary, and he knew that he was not wealthy enough with all these words in English. Because I guess you have to speak from an early age, or get to study everything in English. So I don't think one is going to lose one's culture, which that is the fear, the great fear of some. But at least in order to be able to translate where we're moving is a part of us that is universal. Well, I'm just gonna take a silly card here that's for children. That I sent it to Canada, but the Ministry of Family and Children returned it to me. They return many things I send, or they return it to Japan. I send it agenda from Honobishi, and they return it to Japan. So they come with a book as well. And they are for children. Calm mindfulness flashcards for kids. So they're very cute. And they have kids that are Asian, African, India. Looks like from India. Asian girl. So I guess, of course, what boy? My boy is 11, and he will be in May when the glorious coronation of the king is the 6th of May, and my son's birthday is the 5th of May, and the 4th of May is the day of Star Wars. So it's gonna be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So here they make a parade. The people that love Star Wars and go in the center of London. Nice parade. Well, that one looks good. Oh, this one's so cute. And my daughter Alice is 13 years old, and her birthday is in the birthday of my best friend Melissa Chang, the 20th of January. This is right in the middle of Capricorn and Aquarius, just like Melissa Chan. Very polite. It's nice. My mother laughs and she tells me things. God, the Debbie, my first daughter, is so polite, like her family. Because she laughs at with me because we're so nasty sometimes because we're straight. But because we work in a closed environment, so we have the luxury to do that to certain people. So it's just nasty jokes, but we do it with each other because people get freaky and they get afraid that we're gonna joke to them like that. And I don't know why they think we're special, but we're not any special at all. Because when you deal with this is the center of meditation. What's special in that? There is nothing there. So this is really cool for children and for adults as well. These cards, and they have the book as well that has more things. I wish they had these cards, but it's sending them things to. It's been horrendous. This Canadian office. Um, it's been a horror story, and they do this to many families because they want to break the connection with the parents. And I have money, I have work, I have home, but they have absolute abuse of power because it's their business. That's how they get the money from the government, and they have to maintain it by taking children. So I have problems in the way. Never thought it would be so problematic. That's why people prefer to follow directions and have a safe job. No risk takers. But then you can take risks like that and not being not protected. This one is called so I put focus. It has nothing to do with anything or anyone in particular. So it's just the word focus and consistency of what is around you that composes you, that conforms you, the your the constitute of your that binds you together as you are, that is all around you. That is also the protein that holds everything together, that is around each system, and the protein is the construct of all the system and organs. So the organs have a function for that, and there's the systems. We have what, 5 systems, right? I think there are more. I think the skin is the system itself. Well, they would say it holds the skin. The skin holds all the protein, right? And there's bones. So it's interesting. I cannot talk like a doctor. So just trying to explain the construct of whom we are, and the construct is our narcissism. We all are narcissists. Whatever is for good or bad, whatever is healthy, we might have some traits, narcissistic traits, and you can listen to H.G. Tudor, the ultra narcissist. But he knows that from all the character traits from role playing, and all the each character trait has a power, and if you don't have certain, you have weakness, but also each character trait has a certain. So there is a construct, and in science as well, there's a construct there, and the hormones pass this information. It is related with the protein. How is it going to build it? There is a there is a there is a interrelation there that is happening in our organism, our own organism holding all this together. Around, not just around, like a coveted thing, no. All of it. And is the one, that protein and that information that goes through, it has a mechanism that I think is the key function of our biological matter to, yeah. uh, I need scientists to explain, because I read a lot of science, but I never talk about it. So I can understand it, but I cannot talk about it. You need to be a scientist, just talk about that and all the time, and study that every day, every hour. So focus. Pick one object and focus on it. Notice its color and shape. Spotlight focus. Mindfulness is about attention. Sometimes our minds drift and we think about all sorts of things at once. With practice, we can notice that our attention does and move it by choice. Like a spotlight, your attention can move, wander, return and rest in one place. Focus. 1. Focus your eyes and your attention on one object in the room. Maybe point to it with your finger as your eyes look there. I recommend to use a fragment of time, space, location, time, space, location, and a symbol to it. Each symbol has a code or logo that has its opposite. Everything has an opposite, right? And that can represent a person, that can represent a trait of a value, that can represent a characteristic of that which you are going towards. Yeah? So, for example, I'm going towards that which defines my watch, right? So, you're going into the time space with that particle, and it's not what you want, because you have to know where you're landing in that moment and time. And only there, like you're just landing with a parachute, right? You can, yeah, it's not like these people that are projecting. Yeah, because what I want is what is gonna happen. What I want is what is gonna happen. Like, what's just chicken brain? Chicken brain. What I want is what is gonna happen. Whereas these people that believe in such a thing, I don't even remember what they believe on. It's been discarded all the time. The power It's just that, yeah. Um, you have to be very aware of the realities, yeah, because you have a big building here, but they're not, and maybe you can just go and accepting the reality, get to land there, woo, right? Because in your mind you have that synchronicity with the wide scenario of the vast multiple realities that are happening all at the same time, but one at a time you're gonna get there. Whether you can zigzag or not, or with the wind and all these phenomena. And you can bring the same story in any verse, in any given scenario, on any action. This is just a role play mode. It has to do also with quantum dynamics. That can go to the school of science and they can elaborate that. But for storytelling, that's how you make a role. You want to enter, right? I'm gonna just crash into the building because it's what I want. No, just crash into my window here, you bitch. Who do you think you are? You wanted me us to open the window? We can't open these windows here in this high building. No, we can't open them. It's impossible. You could have told us before. I don't know. God, what's this? Aeroplanes crashing into the twin towers. But you never thought you'd get so. It's not low, but want to be so high and just get through like that. It's not. Oh, I was looking pretty. You could have seen me now. You see how pretty I am? What's coming? Because of who I am. Oh, gosh. So it's kind of like imposing or auto staging. That's another word I have created in the world, in the dictionary or encyclopedia of role play. Because all this can move in the website is going to open up the virtual reality. So it will be better that it's legalized and Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, I need to. It doesn't come through because I can feel there is no shared reality there. It's been taken illegally. Yeah. So it's this way it's not working. So you want to lose more money and have enemies, or you want me to mediate for you? Because who do you think you are? You want to crash into a building as well? Do you want to impose your reality? Auto stage. It means you cannot pretend that a person is having another stage. You cannot tell a person, stage me. You're auto staging. It's like, look, you're coming. There are rules. There are scientific rules proven over and over. If you go to somebody, normally you're going to their scenario. Yeah, you're going into their space. So you're not going to go there and auto stage. Yeah. So I need to get paid to explain this. There's so much that it's just living in it. I have to accept it as well. Yeah, I cannot project. I have to accept it's a slow, very slow coping mechanism here. Like how's West, the rapper of the Kardashians. I love his music though. It's just the character. You're white-sided. Have to sing with the white-sided. It's like, well, yeah, it's not just white-sided. They're They hold the power in their fingertips. But Mark Zuckerberg, come on, like the thing is that he looks really cool from they are they are. I mean, I defend him because I love red hairs, and there is he looks like one of my characters that is science fiction, but he he works with engineer. He's an engineer of genetics, and he knows science, and works for. Well, I want to talk about my characters because that's a part on these stories that are shared. So I have respect to his world. I just don't think he is aware. So well, each one has their own, I guess, time space. I really wish people to role play more, become a little more artistic in the generosity of sharing with one another through characters, and they can work better, they can tweet better, they can understand more and more values. Is this world needs distribution systematically. We need like 3,000 people around the world. I said 30%. All right. Putin wanted to do 300,000 mobilization. Like, that's not my movement. But you can just check it down to your own numbers. And then it works by itself. So, distribution, allocation, allotment, apportioning. I love to speak with a British person and just repeat with the sounds to like music, just to sing, be the rest of my life singing. Like I used to in the chorus. Oh well. Ap- Apportionment, assigning, assignment, sharing out, dividing up out, dividing up out. It's interesting, right? Because if you're distributing, yeah, division, measuring out, meeting out, parceling out. This was a word that was shared, it multiplied through the internet, and the people that talk when, because Dr. Grande, Judge Jordan Peterson, and he's a psychiatrist, and nobody talks about Jordan Peterson. But that was a very interesting. I would love to see them talk together because he doesn't have so much. He just talks about crime and teaches people, and that's very healthy to learn from Dr. Grande in YouTube. And sometimes he talks about characters that are famous. So he has an ambiguity, and sometimes he is very sharp to say things that nobody has ever. And from that, I don't know if Jordan Peterson has seen him talk about himself, Um, and he was very smart later on, explaining what it. Okay, let me unpack that. Okay, let's go back there. So tried to explain because therapist is so uh, just was to display all himself out and return because his mind is even infinite have a finite time. It's infinite has a boundary, right? So people cannot follow where what and returning back and explaining all that display. So then he started to talk about, let me unpack that. Could you pack that for me again? Let's and go there. So this word started to, let me unpack that. Let me pack that. Parceling out. That was funny because kind of like explaining why he talks the way he speaks. So being more detailed and orientating how the conversation is going. Rationing out. And the antonyms, which in Spanish is antónimo, antonyms is collection. Collection. So distribution, collection. And the people who have the collection also have to learn to distribute. And poor people and middle class don't know what is that. They don't know how to talk about values. They don't know how to premeditate. They don't know how to talk about the same thing for 3 years, 2 years, 5 years. That's something my mother would do on and on, and with realistic material things. And I wasn't like to philosophize anyways, but as a recreational time, but still they are fundamental values that people need, and it's not reputation. People need shelter, food, freedom with respect. There's enough space in this earth for everyone. I mean, you can be the best of whom you are to be. Doesn't mean you're gonna lose that place. So, I mean, you could if you continue being like that. Two, now move your attention to another object, this time without pointing. If you start thinking about something else, bring your focus back to the object. Oh, well, in meditation, Osho speaks the focusing is not meditation, or being in wonder. It's not meditation because you're already stressing something. You are manipulating something. You're putting your mind into it. You're not in a state of awareness and full awareness and meditation, which amplifies your perception. You don't need to focus. It's just it comes to you what is needed. Of course, if you are acting on something that is being orchestrated and already elaborated and thoughtfully created with many schools to create a movie, to create a musical orchestra, a crescending a conversation on a crescendo that is waving through humanity, so we learn what is to distribute and what is to mm, have this assortment of classifications, so we can gather all these things to make these mansions into villages, bringing books or no books, just going there to learn how to dance with the drum and enjoying beautiful fruits that are tropical. And wow, man, it's so wild. Would I have to say this is poor when there is so much abundance and the soil is so rich and the fruits taste like 15 times more? Because even the soil in India doesn't have the same mangoes than in South America, for example. Of course, the British love to talk about Africa because it's like they're conquering Africa. Because South America has been already Africa, Africa, whatever. And they are the Pacific Islands, a lot of places. Not to change them, accepting their culture and having fun. Just lose your time there. It's like a holiday. That's a holiday. What you're gonna do is there is just for fun. You keep working on your thing. But that mansion into your village is a hobby that through time becomes like your little kingdom. But people have paid for the little parts. Well, it's somebody better than me to talk about it. There might be a lot of people, not only just all the women, but influencers on YouTube and the government. Who knows who has the better skills to synchronize with all this? That can happen simultaneously to everyone around the world. Why to stop this? Why to stop this channeling of interplay? If each one is apporting, you say apporting? No, that's Spanish. Aportando. Each one is bringing a portal towards manifesting what people are doing with their own little world around. Here we have problems with recycling, big, huge problems, and the people that are immigrants don't like to recycle. They have resentment. They are antisocial. When if they can, they will be antisocial. Unless somebody comes to make order, or there are cameras and say, or the landlord says, look, you cannot live here if you're not recycling, because then I have to pay £500 to the city, to the council, because you're not recycling, so you have to move out by law. But the landlords don't have a law, and the machines to recycle cost a lot of money as well. And paying people to recycle when each person can recycle themselves. I'm sick and tired of living with immigrants, but I guess I'm an immigrant here. I'm come down to that category. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Oh, you're Spanish. Go to clean. You are 40. You go to clean. They send me a letter now. Yeah, now you're gonna give me a lawyer? Yes, I've been asking for a lawyer for 3 years. I mean, I did it very well, but then my mind collapsed because then having to deal with the metaverse or Bill Gates. I can only see your pinky toe. Can you hear me? Fucking tech titan. I don't know. I mean, telling you it's a good idea. Can you hear me? No, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, just came from there. So well, they're doing it. I guess. I guess. I don't want to talk about the trial with McDonald's. Uh, but McDonald's has betrayed, and they're making McDonald's with another name. So I have giving away my trial because the circumstances with Russia, and that was the big card that represents the world together. This is the problem when you have too many heads in one company. There is no order. Of course, they will do for money whatever they want because they do it for money, right? I mean, they lost a lot of money, not having to close all the McDonald's and all the companies that have closed in Russia. So it is a time for Russia to have a little massage in the heart, even if we don't have a heart. Just acknowledge that actually we do have hearts. Heart. Of course, it's empty. It's just pumping blood there. It's a muscle that works by its own. Like fucking around there, making love. What's this mechanism? You're gonna say stop, stop, stop. Hey, people with higher. That's what they say. With a higher enlightened master can stop its heart and just die. That level of consciousness. You can do with your body a lot of things, and with people's body a lot of things. Understanding the body sometimes is much better than understanding the mind. This is why we need to come down. To come down not only from our ivory towers, that is the mind. Oh, I want to know more. To come down to look at this beautiful daughter that I have. My first daughter. I mean, she's now there in Venezuela this first month. I cannot see her because she just looks like she's just in her world, trying to create her world there. She has good family and is much better there than here in Europe. But still, there's so much I have to give to her and an honor to her because she's always believed in me. She always believed that I would sell my script. She always, I have put her in my phone, and when you have people like that, even if they're just talking in the phone, that's good enough. Your children, how they look at you, and you want to give back to them. You want to arrange things for them. And it's not words. Their words are nothing. They're just like watching TV. What are you gonna do with that? Yeah. And then another day, the same. You have not construct anything that is bringing passage to a better social standard for people who are like God. Venezuela people share the poor kids share their shoes, but many don't have shoes. And it's okay, they can live like that, but these things never existed in Venezuela. Yeah. So this is my country. So how can you ask me to go on my knees, mm, and say I will work for you in an entire responsibility? What these few people in the CIA did to Venezuela with that government that needs to be, that part of the government in United States needs to be trimmed, yeah, or needs a mutation there. I just put that information there, cause go get the fuck out of here, eradicate it from the this earth, this way of being. Yeah, and also in Vietnam. A friend who I took care of his house in Ibiza, a genius from Germany. He taught me a lot of things. He has a resort in Vietnam. He's placed me how the people have been affected from that war on Americans. Right? So, is this democracy? We need to get because communism doesn't exist. What the Chinese and Russians did to the empire, or the that okay, everyone was on extremes. When we need to kind of like understand what are we doing? What are we doing? What is this? Like really? You, I'm giving information from Venezuela, and you're gonna trash my country? Wow, you're so low class. You know, you need to go. You need to not go where you belong. You gonna need to go back. You come from the streets. Your degree of education through all your ancestors are people who run away from Europe and fight in the streets with a knife. Yeah, that's who you are. No matter how much. Huh? That's the way. That has to stop, man. That has to stop. That level of like this is like outrated. Europe has evolved like since when did they use the sword? That was a big deal before in Europe. Oh well, I was just carrying my sword. So they moved from the sword to carry the stick, the gentleman's stick. Yeah, I don't know how you call that stick. They will have the pipe, the hat, and a baton there, right? Because they moved from the sword. They didn't carry swords. They had sometimes guns because they would have fight till, but it was still noble because they would have all this. They will fight till death and they will walk and then shot, right? So they were getting a little more argumentative about how they're gonna kill each other, a little more classy. Now you have teenagers killing kids in school, and it's cool. No? Not just it's the way Americans, not all Americans, but it's this thing there. And you want to have a Wild West because that's your Wild West. That's not Osho. They make mistakes because they had Osho was not in touch. He was in silence. He was not in with the coordination. He was not directing anything. So he let nature be nature. Yeah, right. So they wanted to use guns because the others were using guns. So it's kind of like Wild West there. But I went after because my mother and we didn't like to use red color. We're kind of, yeah, ooh. I was a little girl, but they would ask me. They would stop in Madrid. Since I was 9 years old, I have seen the sannyasin stopping making parties with my mother. There will be always some. Um, I've seen all these people around when I grew up, but I was like, yeah, I mean, they're nice. It's not that I really want to be like dressed in red and pink and orange and maroon and purple. Like if I am just, I like my uniform of my school. So, yeah, but that is also like another thing. I said, well, but I like mine. I don't like yours. So I like yours as yours, but not as mine. Yeah. So that as a little girl, I had to just kind of like, I'm very happy walking my German Shepherd and joking at teachers and getting to think that I'm going somewhere. They were funny, but I've been always joking about these hippies, always with the teenagers joking about our parents and their friends, and with my sister, because before going to India, we didn't know they were drugged. Yeah, because they would talk to us like, "Oh yes, and look at this. Ah, you have around this? Me and my sister would look at each other like there is something wrong with these people. And my mother didn't like that we would be around when they have parties and they were taking something recreationally. No, my mother was not a drug addict, but once a while. And it was interesting that my mother brought these characters into the home because she had a big house, so there were a lot of party friendliness, a lot of love. You could see the movement in the 80s, very strong, celebrative, loving movement. And I would look at my mother like, where did you bring this guy here? And he would talk about what he invented, this toy that later they copied his idea, but it was a wooden pattern that you had to put together, puzzle it up, and it was made out of wood. He wished to have sponsorship as well, but my mother looked at him like he had to make his way, and my mother was busy with her own things. And she was a businesswoman on fashion, not so there was kind of like a sad situation there looking at this talented genius who looked like a poor hippie. Maybe I was 11 or 12, but it was sad because I look at him and I thought it was one of the best toys that I've ever seen because you get addicted trying to put it together and it makes you think, and it's beautiful, the shape as well, the feeling. And all these characters, these other they brought illustrations from this marvelous designer of science fiction scenarios. And his book was about everything was rounded, everything had to be curved in the future. So this science fiction, it was, and they brought all these things home and they would celebrate all these things. And so yeah, it was entertaining. It was not boring. So people coming from around the world and they would stop going to India from America, or the people from. So you can complain with all this mixture of people that you're meeting, is to say they will define you, but they do bring they all bring something with them. Um, it's beautiful. Those who don't have anything are so grateful and believe in you so much. Like the rural people in Venezuela and in many parts of the world, the most grateful, wishing to learn. Um, Only if the president of Venezuela could talk good about and countries who are in denial, about those who have something to give, because people need to learn how to distribute and organize and what is credit and how it takes 80% to maintain. You cannot spend that. That is to maintain. That's why the conservative can handle money. Something my mother would always say. Everything is in the organization. If you don't have order, you don't have anything. And each person would say it in their own way. My mother would still always love to move around and have to give something away to move on. because you become very dependable if and you cannot move on. So I have wished always that cannot be at the same time everywhere. That we have a little bit of here and there. Um, can't trust that everything is gonna go fine, because you are not in the power to do and command and say, trust with this person. I told my mother, trust with this person that has been working for us 14 years. I wanted to do an extension of the house for her and her husband. They've been working 14 years. They've been very loyal. They've been never always happy to work there. But my mother preferred to trust in strangers and not honor the person that has been there loyal, never talking bad, just humble and that has servitude. So she didn't want to do an extension. And I said, I'll do it with my money then. And she was, no. So that's how she lost everything, because she would rather trust in a stranger then. So you have to invest in your people so they take care of what is yours and is theirs. Because it's kind of like, yeah, reciprocal. So it's been taken over just for that, for silly details. But I had to get out. I had to get out. I explained it to my mother and I prepared. But would have wished that, but things happen. It's not always going to be a tragedy, but not necessarily has to become a tragedy if you are wiser. It's like, yeah, well, I can use it there. If you are living in the realm of the dead, is to say the that which never dies. Yeah, who cares? Yeah, that's why can't relate with the dead, because that's it's dead energy. It's gonna go to auto destruction, because it's like dealing with drug addicts or people that put sex before maintaining your bed where you make sex, right? So it's kind of like, oh, well, I can fuck under a tree. It's like, yeah, I also fuck under a tree and in a cave and in the Himalayas, but I keep the base. So you're not gonna have better sex if you get so loose, do you? You're not gonna have more enlightenment if you get so loose, would you? And Osho talk a lot about that with talking about bringing spirituality, because spirituality is also corrupted. They want only for them the spirituality in the monasteries, just for them all this knowledge, all this wisdom. But then they have to give a vow of poverty in all the religions. So the families go there and just get a little bit of a glimpse of divinity, and with that they're happy just to do the, the the mediocre little things that we have to be grateful with, but you don't have that touch of madness and enlightenment that just makes you. And then Osho brought this Sorba the Buddha together, the concept of Sorba the Buddha. Sorba, I think Sorba was when Alexander the Great was alive. So on those times, these characters were famous and they were well known. The philosophers, they were like the cream of, like the actors of Hollywood today, which eventually they will die. There will be characters of virtual reality. You wake up. I have got my characters already, so I have been hacked lately. Lost 5, so I have to kind of like recover, try to recover them, but it's a lot of work just to keep some characters alive there. Kind of like give them pulse there, just to. Because I'm not paying attention to them on our little mess that is part of creation as well. So Alexander the Great was passing by. Oh, I've heard a lot about you. And this, he wanted to bring him to his kingdom, and because it's very cool to have a prophet or a sage master, an enlightened monk in China, one that does poetry or painting. Yeah, it's a fancy thing. Yeah, yeah. There are many stories about these characters coming to the king with the king or not. There are a lot of stories. There are symbolisms there. There are a lot of stories, lots of. So there are a lot of relations with these characters, the king and the wise man. So and they sometimes both are part of the same logo. Yeah, you can see that is not all kings are the same. Not all the wise men are the same. So it's just was watching Charles with the Memorial Day, and it's like he finally has his place that he always had in alignment, but in this time where he's a king. So of course there is everyone gradually is treating him and calling him with the title of a king. So everyone is being prepared all our lives for him to be a king, and finally he's a king. And still there is a so he was coming out to take a position there, and something like he's troublesome with something still out. It's like the people around him maybe are not working well, and he's like he doesn't want to do anything with that. And he, because I can understand when he needs to be listened whatever he says, and he knows whatever he knows and what he needs, but he's looking better and better and better and better. And the now he's not the loyal dog of his mother, which has been always there in a noble sense, because there is no more loyal animal than a dog. But to 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 see that now he is the chief of the wolves, right? He's the king. But I have seen always like he has a character as someone that is backstage. Yeah, he's very something subtle of him that I heard him talk one day with actors. I mean, in YouTube, and he's so charming and he's so well spoken, and I've never heard him talk for so long. And he came at last, and because that's something that is very rare to see him talk for so long. That was some years ago, and renowned actors from United Kingdom. So it was a rejoice among them. You could see that, and he has this grace that is incomparable. So I really wish that we can get to be showered by this grace of his, and he has more space to amplify whom he really is. Because there are, I don't know if it's just changing. It's just sometimes these changes, even if we've been prepared for so long, are maybe not easy. Because I guess the structure is the people that work in the kingdom, in all these modalities that they have, they must be so intricated and so particularly drafted in all its details, and so, and it always has this consistency, and suddenly is now a change, right? But he's been working with this change for a long time of his life, and he's a man that as my mother is a man from the 80s, a man who has enjoyed his life. And Osho said to him when he was younger, before Diana existed on his. Because Charles is a great man. No, Diana was just, I guess, what the people like, but they could not understand the beauty of Charles. Because suddenly this phenomenon took over. So, whatever they were together or divorced. So, one thing is to shine, and another thing is to outshine. In movies, you call it you're sucking camera, yeah, because you're having all this. And some actors or some people don't know how to relate with the wall, yeah, because there's a story there. It's not don't suck camera. It's not sometimes they're obstructing the objective, the canon of the camera, because there is there's a whole dictionary for photography that is amazing when you capture and you are capturing a picture, and how it's very different when you look at it and you're not an actor, you're from behind the cameras. So you silent a lot, but you kind of really want to everything to work well. And that is understandable. Now, outshine is a verb. I outshine, you outshines, he, she outshines, they outshine, we outshine. I learned that in Spanish, so it's maybe the first time I say it in English. When you're a kid, verb, past and past participle, outshone with objective. Shine more brightly than a supernova will outshine all the other stars in its galaxy. Whatever that is. Be much better than someone in a particular area. It is a shame when a mother outshines a daughter. Imagine a daughter outshining her mother, normally because she's been raped by the father, and she thinks to be superior than the mother. And the mother, to keep her social status, allows that. because of love, and they auto gaslight themselves. So that is a funny thing. Outshine. A single large houseplant can outshine any number of ornaments. Ha! Trump is among the world. There, so I love words. Um, be superior to, overshadow, eclipse, outclass, dwarf, tower above, over, put in the shade, up, stage, put to shame, exceal, exceeded, transcend, top, cup, trump, beat, better, outspring, outrun, informal, be a cut above, be held and shoulders above, rung, rings, rounds, leave standing, walk away from, archaic, outrival, outvie. I don't know. Well, so a supernova will outshine all the other stars in the galaxy. Supernova, that's astronomy. A star that suddenly increases greatly in brightness because of a catastrophic explosion that ejects most of its mass. It's a little exaggerated, isn't it? I think you need a lot of space for that. Yeah? It's like, just forgot the name of these cameras that are in space. Amazing. Wow. I love to. Alright, just I'm alone day and night. I wish to see my children every second. I have to come out. Probably they want to send me to to do all these things. So I am stuck with all these things and just giving uh, just to eat there. Like if I'm what what just to wait there, just to another pound there. A pound. Oh, excuse me. I have a job here to give. No, this is kind of like no, no, that's not the word. No, that's not the other. We're infinite, of course. Yes. A star that suddenly increases greatly in brightness because of a catastrophic explosion that ejects most of its mass. Oh, supernova. That's very. I guess it has become a part, a way of something. So that star is coming out of a mass. It used to be part of a. So then disattached from something it used to be. I need to study more on that. The universe has these movements that also exist in role play as well, and it's very interesting. So when there are catastrophes in groups, you get that time to and you create other things because you don't want to be with these problems. So they get in charge of that, Okay, this is a high top rank of operational role play. You need many years to get to that level, or be already have been in military or have a rank of coordination. So they will say, because you cannot take care of all the verses. You cannot take care. Each verse has many groups as well. So what you learn to do is to, by creating all these groups or interactive writers, because they get together for that. They are groups. It's not like they're all together there dancing in a disco or going to a university. They're all together. Yeah, we have 3 of 10, or they're diverse from other countries. No, no. It's just okay. You are doing this job. That's it. You're just going to university. You're defined by that. That's your group. So the intelligence rationalizes whatever is fiction or real with all these maneuver, maneuvers. So there is conflict and they want to prove they're better, so they will take over and they will go, yes, we're going to take over. So that's, and then you go, you use that rage that's been created for you is divine rage, and they're enraged to prove you they can do it better and they will take care of it, and that's what you want. And but you go take that rage and just create your space there. I guess that's a supernova movement in role play, and you get apart and then you come back, yeah, because characters go. There is always a movement of zigzag, yeah, and can be always more interlinked, more in string, go on, and with uh, daily basis, and can be years, and then it's just it moves it moves and it creates gradually. It's not just like that. So there's a level of cognition that orientates you to do that naturally. You don't have to study about it. We have it in all in our little inner system here. This body that we have good memory thanks to all the exercises of hypnosis and all the exercises from all these therapists with university titles. My mother liked to bring people who have university titles, doctors, psychologists, and psychiatrists. But they work as therapists involving meditation and alternative options from the world of Osho and India. And many that are not from India, like the Sufis, methods that are. He was a priest, a Catholic priest, and he gave a way to create the family constellation. So there are many arts in the world of therapy that are used in role play, because role play is being used in therapy groups, because it is in the action that you become aware, not just talk, not when you're talking, unless you live from that. Not everyone is the same, okay, but we need to learn how to talk, to deal things. Even if we're gonna make a garden, talk with the family, we're gonna do this, we're gonna put on that, you're gonna do that, you're gonna do that, we're going to do that. You talk about these things. Because if you're passing by, you're gonna buy these things. You cannot be doing everything, so you gotta distribute and talk about the things that you do with matter, money, food, how you create these things from these worlds. You're gonna put it all in space? Come on, it's really. in artificial intelligence. It's just, look, I have great ideas. I can't even talk about them because they look very crazy, but they're fun to. They're the coolest stories. Like really, they're the coolest stories. If I make people believe in these stories, the world will go down to hell like straight away. Cool stories. Uh, Never even got to think just now to ever think that this story could become to reality. But so crazy that it's super cool. Just no way, hell no, this is gonna happen in real life. Never even thought about it, but not just thinking about. I can't even say it. I can't even pronounce any of my these stories that are crossing by. Even if they get deleted, it doesn't matter because I lived through them, so that's good enough. Anyone could catch it from the if you're a seeker with your imagination. These stories are stored in I don't know what it is, in the nothingness. They appear and disappear. Bright is a nice word. Now that I woke up today in early, I wonder why I was thinking of Liz Truss, the picture she had in New York with the red dress crossing the street, so beautiful. She likes being a lady, so pretty. My mother says she's so pretty. Oh, it was so sad. But, these are the characters of the Tories. Beautiful. I wish they had better characters. I mean, I think they are cool characters in the Labour Party. Just wish they don't look so like um, hateful. It could be having that voice in roleplay and have fun with it. We get a little bit jolly and funny about it, silly, goofy. Oh, that's funny here that I read from Bright. And the number 3 says persistently bright and chirpy. That's good for Twitter. I mean, all the people that support the Tories have to be in Twitter, man, because the resented class, I don't say everyone, but the people who are resented can be very creative, and this is dangerous for those who are not resented and are super having living their lives. But that's how they took Boris out. Are talented. But well, he's giving room for other things, and who knows what he's doing. But I miss listening to Boris Johnson. I don't feel like watching the parliament, to be honest. Just watch it because it's there. Um, I like to see Rishi Sunak actually. Yeah, I like to see him. I have to get used to it. His dark eyes is strong for all the white-sided people of a nation that is white to see their president. Because I don't know what is the percentage of people that are from around the world here. In Dubai, 60%. And Dubai is kind of like little, very little. There was only desert there, so it's normal that you will have because it just was nothing there. There was nobody there, just few camels and tents there. I was the king. It's just 100 years ago or 60 or 80. Well, that was evolved very fast. Now I think they want to take over the world. Also, like, yeah, take over the world, man. Take over, man. There's a lot of things to do, man. Like, seriously, really? I'm not working for you, eh? Don't think that I'm working for you. Hello, 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 hello. Just take care of your shit, man. Just take care of your shit. You have a lot of desert there to make green. Yeah. God has cursed you. All the Arabic lands being cursed. That's why you're stuck from the time that God cursed you. It's in the Bible, man. Come on, give me a break. Like, it just you have to really go in the internet. The belly dancers and the Arab men just slapping the ass, and she's just dancing with the ass there in the floor. They put the money there. The it's not that they're not loyal, but they are promiscuous. Also, some rich women are promiscuous. Some um, it's it's weird because they pretend to be holy, but it's the culture. Every culture has more or less some some of their ways of being. So, but it's funny. It's funny the things you see on the internet. Well, right. Likely to be successful and happy. These young people have a bright future ahead of them. Cheerful and lively at breakfast, she will be persistingly bright and chirpy. She gave a bright smile. Intelligent and quick-witted, she was amiable. Oh, I say amicable, amigable, amiable, but not very bright. A bright idea of color, vivid and bold, the bright green leaves of a period of time having sunny, cloudless weather. Or is now? Wow, 3 hours. The rooms are bright and spacious, giving out or reflecting much light, shining. The sun was dazzling bright, her bright dark eyes. Of sound, clear, vibrant, and typically high pitch. I love that word. High pitch. Her voice is fresh and bright. Full moon shining bright. Chiefly, literally, brightly. Adverb. It's not an adjective. It's an adverb. Adverbio. And to finish, head, headlights switch to full beam. He turned the brights on, and we drove along the dirt roads. That's that's like going out of the capital of Caracas. Is the saying in Venezuela, in Caracas, that beyond the city is jungle and snake. So people normally have a jeep. All right. Bright lights, the glamour and excitement of city life. They hankered for the bright lights of the capital. Look on the bright side. My mother would always say so, to be on the where the sunlight is, to enjoy those rays of light. And my father too, to not look at the street But I don't know. I like to look at the patterns in the streets sometimes, especially in this neighborhood where I like to avoid, and I get to enjoy the people. And sometimes it's clean and in order. It's just not where I am. So it brings me peace to look at the sky or just narrow my vision to look at the floor and my steps, to not have the discomfort of looking at how people, even in my own house, because they steal the plants, they again and again and again. So I just gave up. Just gave up. I gave up so much that it has caused a certain distortion in my mind. So it's now I'm dealing with this metaverse that they call metaverse. So it should have been a beautiful name that everyone is involved, like the multiverse. So if it's gonna become a bitter war from the multiverse against the metaverse, because they are having all these investments and all these people and all these connections, good for them. And for me, I mean, I'm not asking to have a heart. I mean, probably need my science fiction stories to come to true, but they are too far in the future. I'm not asking for too much. Oh gosh, cannot even say it. So, optimistic or cheerful in spite of difficulties. I expect I shall manage, she said, determined to look on the bright side. Wow. Well, they're just words. They're words. They're just words. They're just words. We like to chirp. We'll keep chirping along, trumping along. Today I was thinking of Donald Trump, and he was funny. That's true. The comedian was so funny, but I used to joke about that. Man, it's funny, really funny. Oh gosh, it's just really you have to like what's forbidden. They're the best stories, but in a fictional way, because you can't do such things in reality. Number three, let your attention be like a spotlight. Look around and rest your attention on each object you find. Try out on several items in the room. I read this card and I was kind of like, I don't think so. Spend about 10 seconds resting your attention on each item. Woo! You might notice as you pay attention to each item that everything else goes out of focus. Oh, like in the camera. Ah, well, they have created each card very beautifully because they have play with the image as well, which is gloomy. I hope everyone is having a good time. And I don't know what to do anymore because it's every day the same day for me. Whatever is happening around, kind of like. I would like to say paranormal. Yes, it's parallel. It's normal. Parallel, normal. Parallel, normal. Parallel, normal. I wouldn't say abnormal, but this is my kids are so cute. Alice and Zane, Zane and Alice. So they don't let me see them in picture. Why? Because I share the pictures to the father. And he brought the pictures in court. Because after everything he has done to me, I said, well, so what? They're pictures. He has the right to see his children in pictures. It's human rights. He can do whatever. I don't care. I always have my children well guarded. The ministry didn't believe in me. So it is their problem. But they have the power. Give them power and they will abuse. That's what my main character would say. I need another line to define all this around, because you can't. It's just how many generations? It's a matter of love. If people really have feel the love and the imagination to bring this to life, which is wealth and abundance and tickling. It's not really about things, but it does help children to have taller bodies and healthier minds working with each other if they make sports and have a little more protein and construct their movements from an early age and have a higher level of sophistication even when they're going to turn into animals and beasts and get all like raw, giving the scenario for it in space. So, or at least work together, make it happen. But it takes so much consistency to not build it up, but keep it. That's to honor. Okay, I'm tired of all this, but it's interesting to see that I could die any moment. But it's okay. It is on the faiths on heaven, the guardians of the guardians of Athens, in the capital of Greece. So they keep the peace with the people. And in hell, the Furies. They are the same characters, split in three. Ramami, when this week the Bishop Baron was talking about the three worlds, I want to listen to that again. Kind of like flash back my mind to all this. And well, um, if he's starting to work to get this all this, I've only talked 1% of these settings. This is just like warming up. Like, I'm not gonna rape you. Like, really, really. All this orgiacal way of thinking. Like, I know it sounds like it feels so that, but it's strings with a pathway that doesn't really cost anything if you really come to terms. Like, that's how aliens get to fly through space. They will never come to us because if they share their knowledge, but they need our gold to travel. Because the metal of gold has the highest frequency as the metal. There was a debate 80 years ago in, well, I don't know how to talk about it, but I have studied a lot of nanotechnology. So I had developed an idea to detect a little nanotechnology to detect with children under risk of violence or abuse, so they can be detected to protect them. There have been children who died from and just being beaten up, being abused sexually, even if there is love from the father or grandfather and a great love, there is also abuse, and that they know they're gonna forget it because they forget everything. Sometimes some kids even forget all their childhood, but this memory there, because and all these things. So children need to be loved through the senses. The body is not mature, so through the senses, there is just through the senses, without saliva, without penetration, without the sexual energy of an adult. So sad to see that they are so innocent and misguided. So they were debating because one was talking about other metal in the blog for nanotechnology, and they were debating. I would never dare to write because I do not have the level of nanotechnology language to even write. Because I can write about many things because my mind activates from the back of the memory all this data that I'm not used to speak about, but to write I do because it's my field. And nanotechnology, I would just read, and there was this big discussion because the gold is a good transmitter, and the other one was saying, but you can all this other metal is a very good transmitter, and it can help so much in humanity just by that fusion of a fight in that very moment in the block, because they were talking very respectfully and brilliantly with their best refinement. And in that moment, it's just, I thought, that's it. With that, you can help all these children. Because it was building up in my mind from the marcapaso, this machine that controls the heartbeat, and they don't produce them anymore. But that's how they find a serial, well, not a killer in Canada, because the heartbeat, what would the nano, that was the first nanotechnology inserted in the body, and in the 80s it could read the data of the last 3 days. So I love the police investigation because I love the way they work, the way they investigate, and it's a treasure to see these people working because they will go to it, and they only fix like 30% or 20 or 15 of all the murders because they don't have enough room for every crime. But this gives people to know that you cannot do that because they can catch you, and that helps. So gold is a good transmitter, but I don't have evidence about aliens. That I do know they exist, I guess so. Maybe we have some mutation with aliens that scientists are trying to prove, but there are debates there because there is no evidence. But it's kind of like, look, we have a ball, and then there's this big gap here. We must have a mutation, right? Hey. So I can talk about an imaginary world that it has an information that will just tell you, forget it. You're never going to connect with them. Just live your life. Listen to me. Don't listen to anyone. That much of craziness I can talk, which is It's a little more real than talking about aliens right now. But if they come, it's kind of like if you put your imagination into an intelligibly, it's like hell no. We're not gonna tell you our secret how we teletransport. I mean, of course we just we see things in other ways. We see things that you don't see. We're not so materialistic, so we just want to wonder how you make love. You need that material self, but you're so brutish. A lack of. It's not intuition. It's just like it's a little bit like high class, but they're maybe so hyper class. They're like see through. Like we're like woo woo. Like, just walk through them. So it's funny as a story. They will never want us to give our gold to ourselves. There must be a mechanism in the orbit of the solar galaxy where Earth is important to keep so it doesn't auto destroy because it would alterate other planets and cosmological ecosystems. Would they have that ecology that this world has? What would happen if you just destroy a whole planet? Yeah, to destroy. Could happen. I mean, taking, just imagine just taking, drilling all this oil away that the nucleus of the Earth needs to burn itself. I mean, I guess you could never burn it. How does the sun burn? Can somebody explain me that? I guess it burns from the energy that it's taking from all the planets around, and the planet's going to get away, and the sun is like feeding from it, burning from all. Even the lab, they're the little dwarf planets that are next to Pluto, Saturn, all these 20 dwarf planets, and that are like woo, way in the outer ring. The sun is just pure fuel from its orbits. Yeah. And I guess each planet has an inner sun, which is the nuclear. Maybe. Because some are made of gas. Uranus is just like gas? Wow, man. That's my astrological chart. My God, it's hard to study astrology. I should move into astronomy. This is not nice. Well, I thought really, like, if you want to talk like a crazy person, bring it on. Bring it on. Don't say he's an asshole. Treat him as Uranus. Yes. Well, I have a good trinity there. He's with another planet, thankfully. I don't know if it's a planet, so I have to study that as well, just to have fun. My God, what am I gonna think of me? I hope this comes to just, I guess, just gonna just stop looking at your pinky toe. Imagine Uranus is the planet of ideas, and it has, I didn't know, had like 20 moons. 20 moons. They're not just characters from Shakespeare. They are characters from the literature of the English language. Because the astronomers have found them, so they honor them. They are the only ones. And Uranus is a Titan, is the only Titan planet among these Greek. And then Saturn is from Siberia, the North Pole. Sedna is a Native American mythological goddess who had a cruel story. It's really cool. It's an archetype of what we are moving since we have found planet Sedna. So we're living from the cruelty of the Greek civilization. And Sedna, Europa told me about planet Sedna. She was looking at me like if I was how all these traits, right? And I was, don't look at me, don't look at me. Trying to put a shield over her because I was having a wild life in New York. But this woman is so, it's like she can see through you and can't hide it. So, obviously, you can breathe that from people's skin sometimes, that wilderness. Um, it's interesting to, I wish to hear her again talking about Planet Sedna, but the mythology is about how cruel in her story because we are moving all from this civilization before she becomes a goddess. So she's bringing birth to these submersive worlds of Sedna. Doesn't mean we're not gonna be like walking on our Earth, but understanding the two worlds, the real world and the submersive world in all its freaky natures, which are beautiful. And it's in also like in a state of meditation as well. You're like bloop, bloop, bloop. It's uh, it's a portal of divinity that is related to the spiritual world, if not death, because Sedna is also like an other mythological African goddess, and in South America, in the goddess of the ocean is also the goddess of death. So it's kind of like also related. Oceanus, which is Neptune in Greek mythology, and it's not just of expansion and creation, but it carries the trident. So the Capricorn is half fish and half of another, and all these mythological stories relate with stories. They're just stories. They're crazy stories. They're not the real world, but it helps us to imagine and relate through a dimensional difference from one another, right? Like you're working, you're doing this, you're doing this, you are disattached, and is gradually going to be the next 2,000 years to next 2,500 years. That is the how long it takes Sedna to go around the sun. That's far away it is. It's around one time. It's so far away. It's far out, the outer ring. So I don't believe in astrology like if it is a religion and that is the original truth. It does help me to think about internet, how we're moving as humanity, what is the word. When it started, it was surfing in the net. I'm surfing in the net. Now it's diving in the net. Now it's navigating. All these words. And virtual reality's world is to be submersed. Eventually, we won't need those glasses. And who knows? Who knows how it's going to recreate that? But we are that seed. It can only part from what we got. And I'm very sorry that you're taking so long. I am not the person to be a mediator. I never study for business or mediations. I'm just a mother who wants to be with her children and had developed an amazing work for virtual reality and needs to be paid for her formula. Mm? So I have a noble person that could betray me anytime because it's very powerful. And it's noble for what is noble for whom is more noble. Just nature doesn't care. But nature does feel the resentment. That's why the tragedy of nature, which brings is a part of nature as well. But every day that is so beautiful, cannot I enjoy it with the sweat and my labor that I have brought? Am I not? Am I not like what is this problem? I cannot be working from my imagination or the intelligent form. This is I don't want to be a ghost or be living like a parallel. In real life, you don't wish to have parallel realities where people are so divided that it's just giving signals because everything has to be, because somebody there, you have to be walking on their above eggshells because you're being manipulated and harassed by social, yeah, harassment. If you do that, it can happen to you as well. What happened to Charles um, is a threat. It is a fake story that has sold, but we have evolved from those times. And Diana is the mother of Harry and Prince William, and she's been untouched because the noble class will never talk bad of their own. And Diana is part of the royal family, even if she walk off. She could have she could have worked for the royal family without having to be in the balcony or having to be all the time there, but being distinguished as a member of the royal family because she is a mother of a future king. So these things were so new. In the old times, they had to chop their heads, so it was not fair at all. So these are stories that repeat and evolve a little bit. Come on, everybody was dancing in the 80s. What she did was nothing. She just wanted to live her life and find true love, uh, enjoy whatever. I guess she was more outdoors. Or not really like want to explore outdoors. It was the 80s. Who wouldn't in those times? I guess it's not for everyone to do the same things to achieve. That was a story that ended, and she created her own grave with her vanity. It was her own vanity who created her own death. Accidents don't exist as accidents. I tell people try to not drive when you feel there is too much tension. People, you don't go in the Friday afternoon where people are going crazy driving after work. There are certain times, hours, moments in life. Try to avoid these uh, frequencies where there need to be 3 hours stuck in a things that people don't even think about it. So if you really look, does you want to live from there from that? I don't think you can last very long doing that. If you want to kill yourself with drugs, okay, do it, because they okay. Cannot judge that people are gonna be perfect. They're doing the best they can, and what do they know? They don't know, right? We get to know later. I was a girl. Then you get to analyze the whole thing with more awareness and get to think, wow, man, like, of course, I could see that as a girl. Like, hello, just an ordinary girl there. Just, well, one thing is to make history, another thing is to create trauma. So people want to be happy. Um, that's all I have to say with respects to what we're learning, whoever Harry wishes to be. And William, I think William is okay, he's perfect, is a genius, but it's part of making all this story and people talk about it. Megan, all these are characters. I actually love them all of them. And people gotta love themselves when they reflect sometimes. And they will be more defined with one or another. Well, I love Philip because he had this humor and he I he just looks so charming and funny. It's just and well the Queen. Wow, amazing. They're all these characters. So some people don't even look at them. Some people like to look at scientists. Some people like to look at the tech millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, quadrillionaires. It's well interesting how the flag it says in the back. I never read it. Union flag of Union Jack, named from the Jack staff, a naval vessel. The flag represents the union of nations whose influence extends beyond the British uh, isles. A, a composite design of three national symbols: Red Cross of St. George, England; White Cross on the blue St. Andrew, Scotland; and a Red Cross of St. Patrick, North Ireland. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, what? The red is Ireland? Uh, they took from the Templars. And they were very pissed when they took the red from the Templars. All the Catholic. They stolen the flag of the Templars. British. Honestly, you know how mad the Spanish were? I mean, and the Spanish flag is with it's red and yellow. Con la sangre de un valiente y un rayo de sol, Dios hizo una bandera y se la dio al pueblo español. With the sun ray of light and the blood of a brave man, God made a flag and gave it to the Spanish town. All the flags, one has to learn so much, right? Woo! Somebody bring my babies! Hmm, between a crazy genius and a mother that's hopeless, also to be understood with this work. Bye.